Hey guys and girls, this is Alish from gainmedialab.com. Welcome to my exciting world of live audio mixing. In today's video, I will give you some tips on how to be battle ready for that first gig after a longer period of not working. But first, if you are new to this channel, please subscribe and get notified about all new videos. With that out of the way, let's go! The world of entertainment in general was put on hold with the start of the pandemic, forcing all technical teams to pack up their gear and simply wait. For some, it has meant a transition to other fields of interest. For others, it has become a seemingly never-ending state of hibernation. But everyone who wants to get back into the game wants to do so at least at the level where they left off. This can be extremely challenging, even if you do spend your downtime educating yourself on audio concepts or watching every how-to video, even remotely related to sound. In Slovenia, where I live, we had a brief moment of resuming work after almost 6 months back in September, and I was able to get a few shows in before new restrictions were enforced. Those first shows can be challenging, so I thought I would talk about what worked for me. Let me just state that during my time off, I was no slouch. I was learning a lot, teaching quite a bit, I was creating content for my online courses and this channel. I was working with offline software and had hands-on time on the console. But when that first show was approaching, I was getting nervous. It was a show I ran literally hundreds of times, but I was still dreading the fact that I might miss a cue or forget to patch something. The thing that actually calmed me down and kept me in check was visualization. I would take 10 to 15 minutes to sit in a chair, close my eyes, and run the show in my head. I used an old set list as my reference and went from song to song, seeing myself doing all the moves I knew I had to do. I focused on the songs that I knew were most crucial, and I would visualize myself standing behind the console, imagining the sound, the lights, the smells, the feel of the faders. I included all my senses in this exercise. I have to admit, the first time I did it, it felt a bit of a struggle. But after a few times, I was amazed at the level of detail I was able to remember. I even started making the motions with my hands, as if I was actually touching the buttons and moving the faders. It's like a Formula 1 driver memorizing the track. Seeing it go perfectly in my mind made me calmer, and when I was actually doing it at the show, it felt like I wasn't away for such a long time. Another aspect of getting that first show under your belt without major scars is following a plan of action. Most engineers on the highest level have a checklist of all the tasks they need to perform on a certain show. It can be as detailed or broad-stroked as you like, but it has to be a logical protocol that you follow on each and every show to ensure nothing has been overlooked. If this is something you have not implemented into your workflow yet, I highly recommend you do so during this period. Just go through all the steps you need to take when setting up your gear and list all items that need to be prepped, checked, or connected, and put them in a logical order of operations. Not only does that prevent you from forgetting a crucial task, but creating that list can also reveal time-saving opportunities. Maybe you can switch a few tasks so that you can better utilize the setup time. Or you just realize that you are always waiting for that one rack to complete your setup and can now move it in the loading process to be more accessible. Even if you are running the same show and you have done it several times, the checklist approach is still valid, maybe even more. I find myself making mistakes when I feel I have mastered something and stop paying proper attention to it. Especially for shows that run very repetitively, that can easily become the case. So having a checklist can be a lifesaver, especially after a long period of not actually performing those tasks that was so second nature to you before. I'm sure you are taking care of your gear during this period, turning it on regularly and checking for signs of possible malfunctions. A lot of people also updated their firmware and software on the devices, checked everything is playing nicely together, and then stored it back safely. If not, that is definitely something you should do. What I want to focus on here is also your personal gear. Batteries that have to be changed, devices that need to be charged, connectors that need to be cleaned and inspected. Your gig bag deserves the same amount of meticulous scrutiny as your most valuable console. So plan a day for gear maintenance, at least once every 2 months. Check for anything and everything that might go wrong and get reacquainted with your tools and their placement in your tool bag. And don't forget the trivial stuff. Check if your felt pens are still writing and haven't dried out, or if your tape has been left in a hot place and is now leaving residue marks on surfaces. Give everything a good inspection and make sure that it is ready to go for that glorious day back on your first show. Personal experience from that first show after the break suggests a few things. First of all, make sure you have more time than usual. If our crew was one of precision before, on that first gig we were all running slightly out of sync. Remembering where cases go when unloading, remembering which order to place them in, it all took a few extra moments every time. We were not running smoothly. We were in each other's way, always waiting on someone. There was no poetry in motion. Every task just takes you a bit longer than you remember, so make sure you have plenty of time to overcome that initial awkwardness and to get back into the groove. Second of all, simplify as much as you can. Focus on the important things that need to happen and don't stress about the rest. If you can't precisely dial in the reverb time, don't worry about it. Just make sure you hit all the important cues. Third, expect to be half a second behind. And what I mean by that is that you have probably lost your muscle memory for certain tasks. If a certain console move was almost an unconscious reaction, there is a chance that you will now have to think about it. Just that thought process can make you feel like you are always crunched for time, or there is more to do than you remember. Just breathe and take it one task at a time. It will come back to you very quickly. This was all for this video. Let me know in the comments if you have any other strategies that you would like to share with others. If you liked the video, remember to share it with your friends, and as always, like and subscribe to my channel. Until next time, mix great shows, take care, bye.